Actress Olivia Munn is not convinced that Hollywood is doing all they can to right the wrongs when it comes to sexual assault, sexual misconduct, and sexual harassment. So just a little bit of context. Olivia Munn gave an exclusive interview to the LA Times going in depth about her account with director-producer Brett Ratner and how he engaged in sexual misconduct with her against her will without her consent. She was one of 6 women to come forward with accusations against Ratner. Recently, Olivia went back and had another interview with the Hollywood Reporter where they asked her, do you feel if Hollywood is doing what they can to right the wrongs and to really move forward and expose this ugly nature of sexual abuse, sexual conduct, and sexual assault? Olivia goes on to say, you asked me, how do I feel? Do I feel good? Do I feel like I have justice? She says, no. I'm thankful that we're in this moment where our voices actually matter, but I don't feel like there's actually an awakening of consciousness in Hollywood. There's an understanding that there will be a backlash in the marketplace and to their bottom line if they don't make these big announcements. They aren't woke. They're just scared. Now, she told that to the LA Times recently. Olivia Munn was one of the first to come out in regards to Brett Ratner, and along with Natasha Henstridge and 4 other women. What do you think? I personally feel that she's right.
She's absolutely right.
Hollywood is saying, okay, fine, we're going to bring it to light, but we're gonna do what we need to do not to affect our bottom line, because we've said this time and time again as we reported these stories on Pop Trigger that it's about the bottom line. They don't want their audiences leaving. Movie studios, especially Warner Brothers, who had a deal with Rat Pack Dune Productions, which is Brett Ratner's production company, valued at $450 million over a 75-movie first look deal. That's a lot of money.
Right, and he still has that deal. And so he hasn't been dropped completely. What it comes out is the reaction to this so far is, if you, the viewers, the consumers, if you're mad enough, then okay, we're mad enough too. But not that we're mad, but if you're mad enough to turn your back on us, then we're gonna react to that. So I think she's absolutely right. It's coming off as a reaction, not necessarily a reaction to the consumer.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, hey, this grosses us out, this freaks us out. We want to protect our employees. We want to protect the people who, the victims.
Right.
She's right, she's absolutely right.
Well, she goes on to say that, why is he still in cahoots with Warner Brothers? Allegedly, Brett was moved off the lot, but he lost his office, which, fine, you lose your office, you got kicked out of your closet on the lot, no big deal. He's worth millions. I'm sure he could set up shop someplace else. But she's calling for Warner Brothers to completely obliterate their relationship, which, I mean, I don't blame her, and I really commend Olivia for having the balls to just stand in her truth.
Yeah.
She goes on to say, I stuck up for myself in only the way I knew how. I managed to still do my thing, but I didn't forget, and I didn't forget how Hollywood forgot. So she's saying that, fine, I wanted a career. I had to do what I had to do, but it's noted. And this wasn't the first time that Warner Brothers knew of these allegations and these things with Brett Ratner, because back in 2005, women that worked at New Line Cinema, which is also a subsidiary of Warner Brothers, also filed complaints against Brett Ratner, but turned a blind eye.
And her story kind of sticks with me just because there's so much, all of these stories stick with me, not gonna lie, just as a woman, but she says, when she first came out and first talked about what he did to her, he was asked about it years ago, and then he came back and said, oh, we dated, I slept with her, and that was a lie. And then he later admitted to that being a lie. And in one of these interviews with the Times, she talked about an interview with producer Brian Grazer. And they're trying to get her on Empire. So she's talking about this interview, and she says that she asked Brian, hey, why are you still working with Brett Ratner? And he goes, oh, that's right, you two dated. And it's almost like how horrifying. After he admitted that the dating story was a lie, that's still what people believed.
Right.
And so then she went on to correct it. No, we didn't date, and he admitted that we didn't date. This is what happened. And then after that conversation, she says, Brian said to her, wow, I didn't know, I'd heard some things, but I didn't know it was like that. I'll try not to work with him.
Right.
And the thing that she stuck to was, what do you mean you'll try not to work with him? What do you mean you'll try not to work with him? How come it's not, I will absolutely never work with him again? That's
a great question. I feel like Hollywood, having been in this business for more than 20 years, I feel like Hollywood always puts you in this box of what your capacity is. They don't see you as a human. You are a product to be bought by a buyer. So people like Brian Grazer, who are wildly successful,
a power player
in the industry, probably have been conditioned and proselytized into that type of belief, like, okay, well, you're just a commodity, you're a product, you stay in your lane. And I think that with all these new allegations that are coming to light, Hollywood is forced to turn on its head and be like, whoa, okay, yes, it's affecting our bottom line, but these are also humans. These are also people that have feelings, and we should believe their stories. And it's just, it's every day. There's something new. There's a new allegation.
Every day.
Recently, Russell Simmons is now in the hot seat with Brett Ratner over sexual assault and sexual misconduct. So
that story.
Yeah.
I actually woke up that morning, the morning that story broke, to Terry Crews's tweet,
right,
where he screenshotted a email from Russell Simmons basically saying, hey, did the guy apologize? Give him a break.
Yeah. About
Terry Crews's situation. And then I'm scrolling through the comments on that, because it's my favorite thing about Twitter, reading the comments to big stories. I'm a creep. But like that's my favorite thing, better than the tweets. I just want to read people's reactions.
That's the rabbit hole we all go down.
That's it, yes. And someone posted, I just woke up and someone posted the article. That was my response.
Russell Simmons, someone who is philanthropic, and not to say that people that are philanthropic don't make errors, but it's again, I think it's hard for people to stomach a lot of these allegations, because you think, wow, that person, and we want to believe at our core that people are good, that people want the best for people, that they wouldn't harm someone, that they wouldn't bring any kind of detrimental nature to somebody, but it seems like that's not the case. So I'm glad Olivia Munn is standing in her truth, and she's not afraid to just keep that conversation going, because I think that's the only way we're going to see some change. Because we could sit here all day long and talk about how bad the allegations are, but what's the change? What's the recourse? You know?
At one point, she was the only one fighting for herself in this. That's horrible.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to, is a lot of times, I wanted to say this, in these situations, a lot of times a common thing in a lot of these situations, these stories that we hear, is someone in some sort of power heard the story, knew about it, had heard a rumor, or was directly told, and didn't do anything.
Because they don't want to ruffle the feathers.
Didn't do anything.
And those people, and a lot of people are coming forward and apologizing for that, saying, I knew, I should have did something, I'm sorry. So they are complicit.
They're complicit, yeah. It's like, crime, yeah. Keep your apology.
I mean, this conversation could go on for forever. There's so much to talk about, and there's so many different ways so many ideas we could have, and so many different ways to really get to the bottom of it. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section below. And you know, if you are a victim of sexual abuse, sexual assault, any of that nature, seek help. You are not alone. And just wishing you all the best. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.